Welcome back, everyone. It's me, Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people, just like you, right there and over there. Okay, me. James Taylor turns 70 years old today. Yikes. Holy crap, Batman. Where did the time go? James Taylor, of course, was discovered or promoted by the Beatles. Yes, the actual Fab Four. Released his first album courtesy of Apple Records back in 1968. And then later on, in 1970, Warner Brothers signed him. And this little thing came out called Sweet Baby James. Country Road. I mean, the whole Steamroller. Just a blockbuster. Fire and Rain will always be kind of the, I don't know, I guess it's the signature tune by James Taylor, but he's had just an incredible career, and thank God he's still around and he's still alive, because he's just a treasure. His voice, about as sweet, hence the name Sweet Baby James, came from a great family of musicians, bunch of brothers who also wanted to be like him. Had the opportunity to see both James Taylor and his brother Livingston Taylor, not together, but back in the 80s, maybe when it wasn't really hip to go see James Taylor. I saw him perform at the Great Woods Arena, which is now probably like the Comcast Center or the Xfinity Center. I have no idea what it is now. But James Taylor had some great solo albums that a lot of folks probably maybe have skipped over. I'm a big fan of Walking Man. I thought that was a terrific album. And also the JT album when he went over to CBS. That has Your Smiling Face on it, which gets way too much airplay today still. It's a great tune, but Honey, Don't You Leave L.A., Traffic Jam. I mean, and he's surrounded by some of the great musicians from Southern California on pretty much everything he does. His duet with J.D. Souther, Her Town 2, just a phenomenal track. And again, a little story. That song obviously was directed at his former wife, Carly Simon. Of course, if you're a big Carly Simon, James Taylor fan, you're going to talk about Mockingbird all day long, it's a good song. I don't know. I think it was overhyped because it was both of them, and they're both together. But Carly sang a lot of backup on JT's stuff, and I believe it was likewise. I'm not 100% sure. I think she helped him out more than he helped her out, and the marriage kind of ended the same way. The ultimatum was given by Carly, and she told him, she said, hey, you gotta choose between me or your work. And the work being, of course, his music. And he chose his work, hence the album titled Dad Loves His Work. And that's why he titled that album that had Her Town 2 and some terrific music on it. Hard Times, another one of my favorite underplayed James Taylor tunes. And he enters the 80s, by the way, pretty much unscathed by the change in scenery. In other words, there's all this new wave and punk and up-tempo stuff happening and synthesizers and big hair and stuff. Not James Taylor, man. He wasn't the big hair guy. He was the follically challenged guy, and nobody really cared. Everybody who went to the concert with me, it was a cultural experience. We're going to hear James Taylor play his guitar and sing these amazing songs. Whether he's singing his own music, whether he's reinterpreting like a Carole King song or an old soul tune. I mean, if you go back to like Handyman and You've Got a Friend, I mean, JT's signature is on those songs. His voice is on it, and he just kills everything he does. In the 80s, That's Why I'm Here was one of my favorite tunes. Sweet Potato Pie, trying to just think of tunes off the top of my head. Copper Line, just a phenomenal sort of late in the career comeback song. And thankfully, adult contemporary radio said, okay, you know, nowadays if James Taylor put out a tune of that caliber, they'd be like, yeah, whatever, we're not playing it. We've got Adele. We've got to play Adele 50 times this hour, and whoever else, you know, Pink, whoever else is on the radio. But Flag was another great album by James Taylor. His version of Up on the Roof is epic. Old Drifters tune, I believe. And, you know, again, he's kind of tapered off and done a lot of, you know, covers albums and live albums. Hasn't released a ton of new material as his career has gone on. That's tapered off. I mean, he's got a catalog that just absolutely smokes, and he could go back and play that first greatest hits album, or he could play the second greatest hits album. He's a great live performer, so it's not as if, you know, he's just this studio guy. He does sort of embody both an East Coast and a West Coast mentality. I think his writing is East Coast, but the music that he eventually started to sort of fit into was more of a West Coast, and you might just call it soft rock. I don't know. I saw James Taylor do Steamroller, and it wasn't all that soft rock, but he can rock out when he wants to. Your Smiling Face is a little bit of an up-tempo tune, and he just is one of those performers that when you listen to him, you can kind of tell he's singing with a smile on his face. Just a great performer, 70 years old. Just cherish these days, folks, because a lot of these performers won't be with us for too much longer. Hopefully, you know, JT cleaned his act up a little bit. I know he was into all the drugs and the partying and stuff, and hopefully he cleaned his act up enough where he's going to be around for a whole lot longer. At least we know he doesn't have to strain to hit really hard notes, because his songs are all kind of in an easy-to-sing key. There are a few high notes here and there, but he was smart. He wrote music he could perform. No matter how old he gets, I'm sure he's still going to be able to perform this music. And let's just be thankful. James Taylor turns 70 today, and just a great artist. One of the finest singer-songwriters flat out in history. All right, I'm Dave. That's my video. I'll be back with more real music in real time for real people, just like you right there, and just like me. We'll do it again real soon. Talk to you then.